My name is Ian Provo, and this is kind of like a rundown of shooting time lapses at night in the backcountry. It's something that people see all the time, but maybe don't really know how it's done. It's not a video. They're still images stitched together. Like sometimes I might have 1,000 or 2,000 photos from a night, that spans 12 hours. My setup is a 5D Mark III. And a lot of times I shoot with a fisheye lens just to get as much of the sky as possible. And, if I'm focusing on the stars, it works really well. It captures a lot of the night sky. The very first setting that I adjust on the camera is the aperture and set that as big as I can. So this lens goes to 2.8, so I'm always shooting at 2.8 at night just to let as much light in as possible. And then from there, I'll make my shutter speed adjustment and try to keep that around 30 seconds or less. Again, just to keep the stars super sharp and intact. And then I can adjust the ISO sensitivity to, brighten the shot up as much as I need to. I usually don't go much past 3200 ISO, and that's kind of the three settings that you really have to worry about. And I shoot everything in RAW, which gives me a lot of flexibility in post-production. If you want to make a time lapse that is 10 seconds long, the first thing you need to consider is what is the frame rate that it's going to be played back at. And typically when I edit video, I'm working on a 24 frame per second timeline. At 24 frames per second, I'm going to need 240 frames to get a 10-second clip. And so the equation's pretty simple. You figure out how long you want your video to be and your frame rate, do a little simple math, and bam, you figure out your interval. If you're shooting clouds that are moving really fast, you're gonna want a really quick interval so there's not a big gap, so it's kind of smooth and fluid. But if you're trying to shoot, let's say, a scene of the Milky Way going across the entire sky, you can get away with shooting one photo a minute or one photo every 5 minutes or even longer, one photo every 10 minutes. And then the other critical element to shooting time lapses is obviously a sturdy tripod. I don't bring a tripod every time I go out skiing just because it becomes kind of a hassle. But you can kind of make a tripod out of really just about anything. You can strap it to a tree. I use a little a flexible little mini tripod that sometimes I'll attach to a pair of skis or a shovel or some sticks or whatever. Anything that you can find that's stable. The idea is to keep the camera super still so there's no shakes or motion in your time lapse, and tripod is pretty critical for that. It's definitely a fun aspect of photography. You end up with some really cool shots, and it's a really neat way to look at the world, in that time space. Really dig it.